Introduction. Welcome to Getting Started with Russian. Hi, everybody. This is William E. Linney. I'm the co-author of Getting Started with Russian, and we're very glad to bring you this audio that accompanies the book. We call this set of recordings the Author's Commentary Recordings, because what we do in these recordings is we talk about things that might help the reader as the reader studies through the book. So we're going to try to provide advice, observations, study tips, and extra little tidbits of information that might help you along as you go through the book. And it's a great pleasure for me to be here in the recording studio with two of my colleagues. First of all, my co-author, Lucille McKay. Hi, Lucille.
Hi, Bill.
And also Sergey, who did all the pronunciation recordings and who is a native Russian speaker. Hi, Sergey.
Hello there.
So all three of us are here together in the studio, and we're going to talk through each lesson in an effort to help you have some things to listen to and have some advice and some guidance as you go through the book. Lucille, why don't you tell us a quick bit about your background and your experience with the Russian language? You have a background in translation, don't you?
Yes, I do. I studied Russian in college. I got my bachelor's degree in Slavic languages and literatures. And following that, I eventually went back to get my translation certificate from Russian to English. So for a couple of decades, I have worked freelance with various agencies to translate from written Russian to written English, anything from press releases to medical documents to whatever official documents people might need. I did a lot of work for an art museum in Russia, translating their website materials about the different exhibits.
And Sergey, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself and your background as a native Russian speaker? You were born in Russia and didn't speak a word of English until later, correct?
Yes, that's right. So I was born in St. Petersburg, and I grew up there with my family until I was about 8 years old, at which point we all emigrated to the United States, to New York. So until the age of 8, I was speaking only Russian, and then after we moved here, I continued speaking mostly Russian within my family. Russian was my first language, and that's kind of what I bring to this conversation. I continued speaking Russian with my family up until today, and that's how my Russian progressed from, hopefully, a little bit further from the level of an 8-year-old.
And then finally, William Linney, I am more of a writer and presenter and a publisher. My first book was Getting Started with Latin, a very step-by-step book to help homeschoolers, well, not only homeschoolers, but also self-taught students, to help them learn how to just get a good entrance into the world of Latin without getting frustrated by trying to use a textbook that's too hard. So I came up with this step-by-step system, and then we started applying it to other languages like Spanish, and then later German. And so the whole point of this book is to be a very gentle introduction to the Russian language for people who are self-taught or perhaps homeschoolers. And so each of the three of us here has a different thing to contribute. And so hopefully with all three of us here, we can say a few things that will help you and guide you as you go through this book.